Good evening, everyone. Welcome, Oriole Nation.
I was not anticipating that. I worked for a little ride.
All right.
Unless you want to stick with friends.
To sit with friends.
Do the rowdy group back there.
Yeah.
I don't know, I get,
Yes.
three over here.
Really appreciate all the help you share with us before appreciating that from our people in this office here. I enjoy
Good job.
I think still.
Yes.
Like salt.
Throw on your leg, and just give us some feedback, that'd be awesome.
Alrighty. We're back from closed session, so our next is the Pledge of Allegiance. All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, our next item is the board mission statement and agreements.
So, our purpose statement is we will develop policy that is representative of our community, set goals, and lead our district by collaborating. And our real beliefs are stand up and own it. We are a team, power of team. And then the final one is courage for growth or passion for growth, working so that we can get better every single day.
All right, thank you. And then consent agenda. So the consent agenda for this time has 4 items. The approval of consent agenda, our minutes from August 23rd special board meeting, and our minutes from July 24th regular board meeting, and then our treasurer's report, which was shared in our packet. So I'll look for a motion to pass the consent agenda for today.
So,
Second.
yes.
Legatsky, yes. Hack.
Yes.
Jaeger.
Yes.
Geckerman.
Yes. All right. Our next item is the board members share a moment of pride. So, Vicki, I'll start with you.
So if you haven't heard, yeah, so to be at that game, right, was just amazing. So, what, 54 games they're saying? I don't know, 53, 54. It was a long time. And yeah, the joy, I mean, everybody hugged everybody. I mean, I was kind of sweaty anyways, but then like hugging all the boys and the coaches were like, so you're just wet from all of that. But oh my gosh, it was just, I can't even tell you how awesome it was to be there when you were there. It was just, and a shout out to our principal was there, our AD was there. I mean, that's just, yeah, that was phenomenal. I probably shouldn't even say this, but I'm gonna cry when I say it, to watch the 17, 18-year-old boys because they won. It was just amazing. It was amazing. Almost as good as, right, your firstborn, but really, it was just really good. It was joy everywhere, and nobody wanted the night to end. So a shout out to all the parents, the coaches, the team, everybody. It was awesome.
A lot of good wins. I was at my son's soccer game, but then we rushed home because we kept getting the text messages through. Like we put it on the big screen at home, and I don't think I've screamed that loud since and I'm okay. I was disclaimer, I'm a Cubs fan, so and the Cubs won the series, like it was about that kind of intensity, but I was running around the house and my daughter's like, what are you doing, Dad? I go, this is epic. This is like, it was such an awesome thing. And I mean, just the whole game, obviously, but that play was pretty impactful at that time. So
It was
Cinderella story. It's awesome.
Super nice press on it too.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes, all over.
Thanks to Cody.
Cody.
Yeah.
But he started kind of all of it. Channel 5 carried it then.
Mm-hmm.
Chuck Newman had a nice interview. So it was great.
Culvers did,
Orange floats, $1.
Oriole floats, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
put out.
It's amazing.
It's good stuff.
All right, Terry, you wanna go?
Sure. How about, oh, last week when, most of us were able to make the, back to school nights and, just touring all the buildings was awesome and the excitement in the air, with everybody here, and there was such a great turnout. It's been a long time since I've actually been able to tour all the buildings or be in, all different parts of the building and, the media, the library here. I've never been in that. Just walking around and seeing all the teachers inviting all their students, that was awesome. One thing that was kind of neat, that I'd like to share is, when I was in high school walking around, I usually don't wear my school lanyard, but I had it on. There was a student who was just trying to open his locker. He couldn't get it open. And, he saw that I was wearing it. He must have thought I was a staff member, called me over and asked me to help him. And I'm looking at it and I got it open right away and he was like, oh, that's great. So it was kind of neat seeing that, someone that I'd never seen before, some kid in high school, I don't know. So yeah, it was a great feeling, walking around the buildings.
Well, I kind of have a feeling Vicky was gonna mention football games, so, but yeah, that's great too. And just, I guess, maybe a quick mention of all the players and coaches through that 53 game that persevered and stayed at it and kept at it, and that was cool, so. And also the back to school night was great, and the opening morning session was great too. I guess I could listen to Lucas, Jaden every week if you had them here, so. But I guess my main thing this week was the Oriole Open in August. Back to a 2-day format out at Whispering Springs, and it's always a great event, and the money they raise is always great. Oriole Nation, and they divide it, of course, we know, with the police benevolent and the pool. But just to see all the staff members that are just volunteer for that. And then in conjunction, obviously, with the community members that are part of Oriole Nation, it's great. Everybody's in a great mood and happy. And I don't know all the different committee chairs, but I was involved with the golf thing, so I know that Doug Forsythe ran that, and that's a lot of work to do an event like that too, and make it go smooth. So shout out to Doug. So that was my prideful moment for the month. So.
Steve, who won that?
I don't know, 4 guys named Hawk, I guess. But, well, 3 basically. One guy, me, chipped in a couple of, actually, that was a pun that I didn't intend, but 2 putts and one wedge, and that they did the rest. And my brother and his 2 sons who are excellent golfers. I didn't get that gene. I try hard and pass along. So.
Good times.
Thanks for bringing it.
Yeah, that's quite pride. We got beat by you by just a couple strokes, so that's what I want to say. Yeah.
Friendly competition.
Yeah.
It's cool because on the smartphone app showed live, as everybody entered their score after every hole, so we could see. We were just right below the top and had a great eagle the last hole that we played and jumped into a tie and then won on a scorecard tie or playoff. So it was fun.
Awesome, yeah, and I had 2 of them that were said ready, so football game wasn't many. What was cool about it too was, even though we got down 14-8, the parent, like you could see the heads go down for a second, the parents were like encouraging from the, like, it was cool to see the whole the whole group, make it happen. And then the part that I had was the FLC playground meet and greet before school started. I've been on the board now for 2 years almost, and I've received more feedback of positivity from that experience than I have in any other event the whole 2 years. And I don't know who all turned out, but it must have been everyone, because so many people said how great of an environment it was and what a great idea, and they felt connected. So
And kudos to the staff too, and that was before we had started, right? This was like a week before.
Yeah.
All staff were asked to come back, and the FLC staff and Lauren and her leadership, and that's just an awesome thing where we got families wanting to be here.
Yeah.
Just so awesome.
yeah, so kudos to that whole group, and yeah, nice work. So
Well, along with everything else, I just wanted to mention the cross-country team started their year in Ripon. And it was really cool to see, because like Aiden and Nate, who graduated last year, so they started at 9 o'clock. So they were there about 8:15, getting the kids ready, helping them, cheering them on along the whole way. And then Coach Drew's is just amazing, because I don't know how many miles she puts on, because she's running all over that course to different parts to coach these kids up. So it was good to see, the program she's building with the kids who's already graduated come back and help out. It's pretty special.
I'm excited to see how her influence in the classroom will then generate more, to that program as well. So it's pretty awesome that we get to have her within the classroom walls too this year.
all right, awesome. Well, I love when that takes 15 minutes. That means a lot
We're done.
good
Let's
going
just have fun.
on.
That's all we do.
Our next item is our clerk's report.
We have one, just have it up. Backpack buddies, I know from the Shingans. $50 from Wayne and Janice Shingan for backpack buddies. That's all I have.
Thank you. And then our next item is citizens' comments. So if anyone would like to share a comment toward the board, now is the opportunity. All right, I think we're good. So now we'll move on to superintendent's report. So Matt, it's all you.
Awesome. So we're gonna start out, we're very fortunate to have a new food service provider within our district, and Chartwell's is here to talk a little bit about with us, but I'm gonna turn over to Maria to introduce them. So welcome.
Yes, we have Sammy and Janelle and Catherine, who are the leadership of our team at Chartwell's. Thank you very much for coming. I know it's hectic all over the state for you guys, so thank you. And if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell them more about you and the program, that would be great.
Absolutely. So my name is Janelle Schultz. I am the area director for Chartwell's for a portion of the state of Wisconsin. And I'm really excited to be in North Conduit. I really am. When we toured in the spring, just being here at Friendship, it just still is it's right there in my mind. I remember walking out of Friendship and I looked at Maria and I was like, wow, beautiful facility. Just absolutely beautiful facilities. And, I'm always looking for opportunities because I was a director myself for 15 years before I became an area director. And, one thing that I prided myself on when I was a director is every district I was a director in, I knew when I left, they had a better program than what they had when I started. And now in my new role, I have the opportunity to not just touch, impact, and influence the one district I'm in. I have opportunities to cast a wider net and influence more districts. And so with me, I have Catherine Leventhal. Catherine Leventhal is your director. And Catherine's been with Chartwell's for 3 years. She was the current director, still semi-acting director in the New Holstein School District. I did hire a director for New Holstein, and she actually officially started today. I finished her onboarding today. So we are working on the transition plan for Catherine to transition a little bit with Kat. I'll call her Kat instead of Catherine. Yes. So, but then I will be able to take over from there. And we have Sammy Treffert. Sammy is the assistant director with our program here. And what we have worked out is something different, completely different than what we've had in the food service operations. Sammy lives in North Fond du Lac. The food service office is in Fond du Lac. So what we have worked out is every single day, Sammy's going to start her day in North Fond du Lac, visiting the schools here, touching in with the staff, just to ensure that they have the support that they need. And, you know, whether it's a staffing issue or if they have questions, we just want to ensure that our food service team here in North Fond du Lac feels supported and valued and different. And the conversations that I had with Julie Eberts over the last month or so, one thing that Julie had shared with me is, you know, she and her team kind of always felt like they were just part of Fond du Lac or maybe like a distant cousin of Fond du Lac. And, you know, our goal is to ensure that North Fond du Lac is its standalone supported district, because you are your own standalone supported district. So, Charles has a lot of great programs. I mean, I could honestly sit here and you like talk all night and very chatty, but,
Her 45-minute points of pride.
right, exactly. But that's where, you know, it has been an extremely busy past few weeks. This last week in particular, oh my gosh, we had a regional chef here one day and he spent the day with the entire team in the Kitchenette Friendship, just going over some culinary skills, food safety training, product quality enhancements and training. We had our regional dietitian come and review meal pattern compliance and filling out production records. And we had our regional marketing director was here going over station presentation and just all the little things that people just sometimes miss, where if you have 2 orange things on your fruit and vegetable bar or something green in between them. All those little fun things just to make things more appealing. But if you have any questions, I'd be happy.
I guess just one, were you able to bring over staff that had been here before with prior?
Oh, yes, absolutely. We retained all of the staff in North Fond du Lac. For the most part in Fond du Lac, I think there's just a couple, but we are excited to say for the first time in kind of a while, North Fond du Lac is fully staffed. The food service department is fully staffed. In fact, we have more associates for North Fond du Lac that were on the staffing schedule. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. It's a very good problem to have, to be overstaffed. You know, I was telling Maria last week, we actually hit a point where we had posted so many open positions, and when we were bringing the applicants in and conducting interviews, just we only had so many spots that needed to be filled. So we had asked people, well, you know, North Fond du Lac is fully staffed now. Would you be interested in a position in Fond du Lac? And there were surprisingly a few people who were like, nope, only want to work in North Fond du Lac. So we also have subs, and that's something that, you know, the food service department hasn't had in a while. So not only are the schools fully staffed, we also have a sub roster. So that will definitely free up Julie.
Yes, that's huge. It's so cool to see her excitement, when your chef was here and she wanted us to come down and see, you know, the presentation of it, and just to see that excitement, that hope, that, great.
Yes, and that's the thing. Brandon had shared with me afterwards, just the level of excitement and just some of the comments that the staff had made and how much they appreciated him being here. So it was great.
So can you talk to me about like Treffert and how we're handling Treffert? Because that was one thing that last year we wanted to make sure that all our kids got that. So I was just curious like how that's happening, because we all had conversations about that here at the board level and for people here as well as the public.
Yes, so we have Treffert staffed as well. So we have an associate who will be going into Treffert every morning to serve breakfast. And then after serving breakfast at Treffert, we'll be going to I think Bessie. Right? Yes. And then they'll be going to Bessie Allen to work there,
Okay.
help getting prepared. And then they'll be going back to Trefford to serve meals.
Great. Good stuff.
Sammy and, Catherine, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure, yeah. Again, my name is Sammy Trefford. I am from, actually Fond du Lac. I graduated from the Fond du Lac School District, but I lived in North Fond du Lac for about 8 years, and now I own my home. I started in childcare actually, so I actually was kind of new to K-12, and this last school year I had like 3 months of the last school year before summer started, and then all the switches happened and everything like that. So I'm really excited to kind of start anew. I think there's a lot of really great programs, great opportunities within a lot of the schools, and I think it'll be extra special, like she said, that we're fully staffed, so that allows everybody to kind of participate in all the programs and free up some of the mental stability as well, which is super awesome to participate in a lot of the extracurricular programs that we have as well. So I also can ramble and go on many different tangents, but yeah, so I'm really excited. Again, I'll be here most days, but you can reach me by email, and I'm really willing to help if there's anything that we can do to make it easier on you guys.
I'm Catherine Leventhal. I grew up in Fond du Lac. I'm a 93 graduate of Goodrich. I went to Stout. I have a degree in hospitality tourism management. I am 92% done with my master's. Just kind of had kids and got real busy. So that's just kind of still sitting there. One day. I have 3 children. One we just graduated from Bonnie High. She leaves for college on Friday morning. I have a son who is a junior and a daughter who is in 8th grade. And it's been really interesting going back into the schools. That I walked into Tyson that I haven't been in 35 years. So it's been a lot of fun. Going back to my old grade school. It was really cute. So I'm excited.
Well, thank you and welcome. You are one of the Orioles. We do not consider you contracted service. We consider you part of the district, so welcome.
Everyone has been very warm and welcoming. The buildings are very helpful and accommodating, so thank you very much.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you. Well.
All right, moving on, start of school update. Obviously, we're 2 days away. I think if you ask our staffs like how we laid out professional learning and what we did differently this year, so you all know too, is last year we had 6 days of PD days. So staff was expected to be here for 6 days. We reduced that to 4 this year. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. And, but one of them too is just, making sure our people have time to adjust and get ready, and we have enough time where they can get things ready for their buildings. But last week we had 4 days, Monday through Thursday, within the calendar. Then they had off Friday, they have off today, and then they have off Tuesday. But it also gives them permission if they want to come in. If you come by here, there are cars and vehicles in the lots, people getting ready for those days. So that Wednesday they're ready to go. And this year, again, we were able to get an earlier start waiver from the DPI in the state. We've signed in here, and it's a really nice thing to be able to have that. So we have 3 days for our kids to get adjusted and start getting a sense of belonging in these next few days. And then the following week, we have 4 days. It's like a nice little progression. And the following week after that, we have 5. So I think the way that we rolled in is really beneficial to not only our kids, but our families too. And I'm really happy with how that's all coming into play. Each of the buildings have a little bit different, like startup in terms of other things, and I'll see if I can get the amount of, if you guys ever get a chance to see some of the messaging and the communications that comes from each building, it's really impressive that our building leaders are doing this on a regular, like newsletters of, putting almost like a website. Where does my child go on the first day? Oh, well, we can go right here and figure out all this information about how that happens and what happens. We're doing a little bit different arrival and dismissal directions this year. We're gonna have a few more people in the front because of pathways after talking to the village, people walking across different zones that probably weren't too safe. We just decided to limit some of those areas and then move almost all of it in the front except for our busing and some of the people who are walking. So just pointing out these different components and having those things ready for everybody. Everything from like what's coming up on September 13th already, grade level meetings to more specifics, but it's pretty, again, just being able to walk through this and how much messaging and communications our peoples do. Chartwell's right here, just a little plug for breakfast and things, but I think people are in this building very excited to get going. I mean, again, the energy, as Terry was talking about, like when you walked around an open house night, and I'm not just talking here, I mean, every one of the buildings, even the high school probably had its most attendance that we've ever seen at that building. And they had extracurriculars set up so that kids could come up and sign up for different things. Those are the kind of things that we want, and that's where we're going to build, and it'll only get better as we move along as a school district. I'm just trying to see if I got Mike's on. Mike, you know, if you ever see Mike too, he spends an awful lot of time on, you know, just clarifying. I mean, this is a 16-minute video that you can literally walk through a playback at any time, celebrating those kind of things and getting ready for things there. I think, you know, what's interesting about Horace Mann, BAMS, is I think there's an excitement for next year already with the construction, and they're starting to see this stuff become a reality, as they haven't seen a huge bunch of changes other than their gym and other things in the last couple of years. You can hear the buzz starting to talk a little bit more about that. So, again, these things are all available for anybody to, I mean, again, how to get to campus, where things are at, cultural playbook. Mike does a really nice job of laying all that out and getting that information. Dwayne he's bringing this idea of a flight plan concept into it, and really try a sense of belonging and awesome first couple days, people coming back in, everything from the first day to the first week, about how, you know, kids are reporting, what kind of expectations they're expecting right in the beginning, getting their schedules right away, and you know, walking through the bell schedule, so people who are new or just transitioning, they can do that, but they have a little bit later start time on this day just so they can get through some of the morning. Chromebook distribution. I think Friday's an interesting day for the Orioles at Horace Mann. They have a pep assembly starting at like 12:37. I'm sure you're all welcome to join and be part of, but they're going to have different relays and pep rallies and, you know, things like that are going on within that area. I think they're also bringing food trucks. Mr. Hansen, who's one of our teachers, is going to DJ music. Just a lot of like gathering people on that first, you know, few weeks to make sure that they have that sense of welcome. I mean, as a parent of a student going off to college, you're seeing that kind of in some of the universities. They really try to make sure that, you know, people who are part of the process feel really good about being there too. So all of them have their own unique. I know Tiffany, let's see if I've got hers on here as well. I might have to go back out. Let's see here. Pardon me for a second. So sending a, you know, family reminder about things that are, you know, going on and letting them know. They've got a new Facebook page too that they're putting together. And of course, I don't have a login, but you see the old area and just constant communication out to their parents and what's going on within that, which is great. But also upcoming family events, just so people understand like what they can come to and where that, and then all of our buildings have this as well. And you're noticing one of the things that we've talked about as administrators is how can we get more engagement with families? And you're seeing like different coffee hours and like donut mornings. I mean, it's just trying to get more people into our buildings to have those conversations and really share what we all get to experience and see every single day. A lot of great wins that are happening. So this is just a layout of that. Again, I feel really good about the start and the kickoff. I felt really good last week. There's a lot of energy in the room, and I can't wait for kids to come back. That's what this is all about. Like, we do our business for our kids, and people who are in education, if you're not energized by that, and if that doesn't refill your batteries, you got to start asking yourself some questions. But, you know, just seeing the kids again, it's fantastic, and getting to help them and support them for this upcoming year, we're really looking forward to it. So that's all I got for school update. Anything or questions about some of those things that you just saw? All right,
I just have one question.
please.
Besides the point, but do people come to the coffee, the Beans and Bites or not?
Are you talking about the one that I run?
Yeah.
I get, I had the highest number was like 10 individuals. And I think as it's starting to come out there, I even had some people who are saying, are you guys doing it again? I go, yeah, we're doing it again. It's more or less just allowing and giving an ability for people to come in and share. If I get 2 people, I get 1 people, I can have a conversation with somebody who's gonna probably share that same message back or have those
Right.
questions. That's really what I really look at it. And we've told our building principals too, is like, the more you can engage and get the community, the more they have a better understanding of who you are, but also what we're doing. And when that transparency is out there, there's no questioning, and there's like, oh, I just had this conversation with so-and-so in the buildings and telling us about what this is. This is really awesome stuff that we get to hear and we've got going on in our district. And sometimes if you're just seeing information via Facebook and other things like that, it might not just tell the whole story. The emotion that you can express in about a game or an open house, like there's drastic different, perspective when you're able to solicit that in front of someone else. So we have an ability to do it. And it's like, how do we do that? That's a simple act of going out for a cup of coffee and having a conversation with people. So there's also donuts in the morning. So if you guys ever want to like check some of those things out, please feel free to go to Donuts at Dawn here at FLC, but I know they're doing it at Horace Mann and BAMS this year. So trying to invite parents in, come in. They did a really nice job of it, so they're just replicating. I'm really witnessing our building leadership talking a lot together and sharing like what they're doing, and not afraid to like, oh, I want to try that too, or oh gosh, give me some feedback on that. It's just a real great place to be in right now. So hope that answered your question. Referendum update. I think I put this in maybe your handouts. It's a little quick 2-page scan through. If you don't have this, let me know. I get this. It's in front and back. Probably deep in your folder, maybe somewhere. But this is something that Bray and CD Smith produced for us. But it's just a nice, quick, some things that are happening that people can get their hands on. And we'll kick this out for everybody, so they have this availability as well. We might have to do like a September versus August, since we're fastly approaching September by the end of this week. But just what's new at each of those places, the planning design updates, and then on the back, just kind of like what's next, with some like sketches up of potential people and some avatars there. Those are not real human beings or kids with faces. So I think Maria and I were, questioning, is that girl wearing Doc Martens, or is that, yeah. But anyway, so, and then more to come with that too, because I'd like at some point to get our designers to come back in. You see that bottom portion on the back where it says got the Orioles. One of the things that they're working on, and part of our plan, is branding, and that back slap in the commons area, what we've kind of got diagrammed or sketched out or designed right now are Orioles in big font, but in each of the letters are pictures of our students throughout the years. And what it is doing is really like just showing, the pride that we've had throughout the years, but also moving forward, so that when students or family members or other people come back or alumni, they can say, oh, I'm in there or not. So I think we had Gene Hintz and Gary and other, players, Doug, look through yearbooks and kind of like snap, certain stuff that would work really well, including other people. And we've been putting that forward as one design piece within the high school itself. So
Wall with this.
So that's a new wall, like that would be in the commons as if we push it out, and I'm trying to think of what direction that would be. Would that be west?
It'd be the west side where that window is, looking down the education hall. Okay.
And there's, if you can see, there's like booths in there. It's kind of hard to see. It's like almost a booth setup versus, there's a lot of different seating in there to give different options for kids.
Very nice.
Yeah, and then the weight room is above there. You see a lot of light, big windows we're talking here. You got the glass garage door, which will be able to be opened up. So if, you're running a weight session and then you can head out to the field right across the way for, whatever team or sport that's going on within that as well. But
Are we doing, how we had the boards up for when the referendum was going on? Is that gonna get updated as we get closer or?
that's a great question. I haven't asked that. I think they were kind of chewing off of these and like, as far as getting this kind of print, because more and more stuff is gonna be just coming pretty fast.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
would you feel that'd be helpful, like for people when they're walking in to have like a?
Yeah, I think it just is, especially when you think about the areas that they're placed, like.
Yeah.
The commons areas where everyone goes in to go to winter sporting events, if you had something there.
Yep.
They're gonna be able to showcase some of the work going on. Yeah. But it also freshens up those boards if I don't know if they're still out there.
They're not up there anymore, I don't think. I'm not, Dave, so, updates. Okay. I will,
I really like how the extension out of the commons matches the same look that we had with the taller 2-level windows, so it looks like it's been there all along, so that's always important.
yeah, we should get some updates for you too, just on like all peripheral, so you can see exactly what's kind of going up. If you just want another reminder, we can bring that back in September as well. But if anything else has been more clear, even on this front picture here, this is in the commons too as well, where you see that loft area. There's design being processed for that white space above the servery zone, and putting some language on there too as well, that they're working on right now as well. So it's just, what's that?
Part underneath is the server.
Yes, so students will come in through that door entrance on the right, or on the left-hand side of that, and then they exit kind of out that larger door set. And there's a really nice setup, and our Chartwells, as well as our people from the years before, are just super ecstatic about the possibility of that and when that's gonna come through, so, good stuff happening there. Dave, you got any other things to add, or?
Well, I think you did pretty much everything.
Okay. The one question was, and maybe you weren't in here at that time, but when is like ELC projected to be kind of complete, or another, I
Well,
guess?
we didn't really have a total timeline on that, because we didn't know what we were gonna run into as far as footings on the wall that has to be rebuilt. We did hit a couple of snafus, but the design is taken care of, it. Engineering is right there, so they should be laying footings and walls back up hopefully by the end of the week, along with finishing up some of the site prep. So we had a tentative start date at the high school of today. We're not behind, that was just a tentative date, depending on how everything went. So we're probably looking at another week, maybe 2, before we go over there. So everything's right on track. Originally just talking with Dave Mertens, we had hoped for somewhere in the end of October. I'm still hoping for that. So hopefully we can push that date a little bit,
What's for the end of October?
The finish up of ELC.
Oh, yes.
Typically, they want to get blacktop done before the end of November, so they're pushing the best they can.
We were able to save brick from,
So yeah, we saved the 2 monument cornerstones that were there, that after 13 years, I didn't even realize were there.
you remember that North Fond du Lac symbol?
Keystones, yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
One is going back in for sure. I'm trying to find a place for the second one. I think put it in on the front, so.
Did you run across any time capsules or
Nope.
skeletons?
That's what the ghosts were from?
Time capsule's probably in the area that we didn't take down. The Treffert, I don't know if you've been by there, Treffert is, landscaper started today. They'll probably, I'm guessing they would finish tomorrow. Fence guys were supposed to be here last week, they're having a hard time getting product. We're pushing them, so, well, I won't see them this week. So that Treffert should be, once fence guys get here, done.
It's fun to see this start to happen, right? Like you had so many conversations and walking this through and I'm amazed by of how it gets done, but it's just to see that whole process is pretty awesome.
It counts people that initially it was asked, when's it gonna start? When's it gonna start? Then everybody kind of forgot about it. And then when this latest stuff started happening, they said, oh yeah, I forgot we were doing that. So it's good to see it.
It's funny because just this weekend I ran into some people from the village that really don't get to the area of ELC. And they're like, I see the fence up and when's the project starting? Has it been by presentation, Crawford or ELC? No, I said, take a drive. You'll see it.
Minnesota, just take a little drive down Minnesota.
We were driving north on Minnesota. My son said, oh, our playground's gone. What happened there? And then nobody said anything and all of a sudden he goes, the gym's there. So, yep, it's fun to see.
It's different view in the morning when you come down Minnesota and heading south.
Dave, when that first wall went down, didn't you say something like it's open gym night? So
Yeah. Sent Matt and Rick text when the walls opened up. This is new way of having an open gym.
But so, yeah, just so the remodel too, and like when we put that up, there's gonna be brick from the existing model, and then when we put those emblems, so that legacy is still kept. I know it's not everything in full, but just trying to bring that history with us as well.
Ray
So,
did a great job of presenting that whole thing, because that's a tough thing, Vicky, your dad would agree on that, you're still here, that you always wanted to keep some of the old with the new.
anything else on the referendum? Just come through. All right, future board agenda. We have to, I think we have students that are going to be joining us in terms of board members. I don't know exactly who those individuals are, but I'm going to work with Dwayne to see who that is. Abraham, Abe Mauer, and was it anybody else? Or was he solo?
Who was? Abe was here, yeah.
Was
Yeah.
Faith?
Oh, yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I didn't know if she was in there or not, but.
You would think she'd be somewhere.
Yeah. So we'll find that out. That'll be in September, future board meetings. Also, we're bringing back the schools, so they'll be presenting with students, other topics in September. That'll be great to have the kids back in here. We were just, because of where we were in the year, and we want to make sure we can bring stuff that was going on right now, and they'll be able to start out right in September. So that's what I have for the report.
Our next item is new business, and we have 3 items. The first is to discuss and consider tuition waivers for 3 foreign exchange students this year. So I don't know, Matt, do you want to talk about if there's any?
I don't know a whole lot, John, other than we've got 3 exchange students coming in, and the listings there, I don't know if we saw, we have a student from Germany, we have a student from Italy, and we have a student from Switzerland, all between the ages of 16 and 17. Stefani family and the Nitz family who are hosting, which is really awesome, that we have people who are able to do that, because that's a commitment, and yet at the same time, it's a great learning for those individuals making that happen, so that these students have an experience, but also the rest of our school to just learn a little bit more about culture if they're willing to do that, and kind of get a better understanding where people are coming in from. But I think it's always good that we have that. I know, talking to Gary too, his wife is part of that exchange program, and I think they're trying to get, more students in here and also out as well for like a temporary, not the full year, but it's just neat to hear, some of the work that they're doing as well. So yeah, that's what I have. And I think definitely, this opportunity for our district and for others is such a good for the school and the district itself.
And really, a shout out to Ken and Sue, because they have hosted many exchange students.
Year after year, is it? Okay.
For
And
the past-
multiples.
Yes.
Because, not just one.
Wow.
So.
All right.
Nice.
Well, that's Awesome, so our motion is looking to consider tuition waivers for those 3 foreign exchange students. So I'll look for a motion for that.
So moved. Yes.
Maffey,
Yes.
Ackerman,
Yes.
Kowalski, yes, Jaeger.
Yes.
All right, next item is discuss and consider policy review. This would be for a first reading. That was discussed on July 24th to start and then finished prior to our session today. So any questions or any discussion on those policy revisions? And the policy board, anything additional? All right, well then we'll look for a motion to be just discuss or consider policy review first reading, is that how it's?
I don't know if we
Who would not
go
motion?
until the second
Okay.
meeting, yeah.
So just,
Okay,
Just,
hold till
just
September.
remember that it occurred.
Okay, great.
and then our final item is to discuss and consider, the stipends that were shared with us in closed session. If there are any questions, so Maria, thank you for sharing that.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the stipends as presented.
I'll second.
Hack,
Yes.
Ackerman,
Yes.
Kowalski, yes, Jaeger,
Yes.
Maffey.
Yes.
All right, and then our final item is to adjourn for the evening, so a motion for that,
So moved.
second.
Ayes.
Yes. All right, we're adjourned.
We have to do a roll call.
So if somebody doesn't have their credentials for that.
Have a great night, Oriole Nation.
I got the initial email on September 20th.